Happened on Friday night. The administration fired several inspectors general without giving Congress the 30-day legally required notification that they were being fired. I think only 2 were left at DOJ.
What happens when a political figure known for their no-nonsense approach steps into the lion's den? Well, in this case, Karoline Leavitt, the former White House press secretary for Donald Trump, stepped into the hot seat on CNN, right across from one of the most assertive journalists in the industry, Kaitlan Collins. And what went down next wasn't just another political interview. It was an epic takedown that left the internet buzzing and even made CNN's own viewers question the network's credibility. Imagine this. You're a journalist, ready to corner a politician, armed with your toughest questions, expecting a typical back and forth. But instead of the usual spin, you're met with receipts, real evidence that completely dismantles everything you thought you knew about the story. That's exactly what Karoline did when she confronted Kaitlan Collins during their live interview.
So now that the President Trump's policies are starting to take shape, how long will it take to cycle through and get some of the actual prices that Americans are paying to come down?
What started as an exchange about federal spending and Trump's economic policies quickly spiraled into a viral moment that no one saw coming. But here's the kicker. Karoline didn't just hold her ground. She flipped the script entirely. What happened next wasn't just a political exchange. It was an embarrassing moment for Collins, who got schooled live on air. The internet exploded, memes flooded social media, and the world saw a side of the media and politics they rarely get to witness. Let's dive into the full story, step by step. Trust me, this is one for the history books. Before we get into the drama, let's talk about who Karoline Leavitt is. She didn't just appear out of nowhere. Karoline's journey in the political arena has been nothing short of impressive. Born into a family with a strong political background, she made her way up the ranks quickly.
And on what happened on Friday night, the administration fired several inspectors general without giving Congress the 30-day legally required notification that they were being fired,
eventually becoming one of Trump's key press secretaries during his campaign. Karoline stood out from the crowd, not just because of her work with Trump, but because of her approach to handling the media. She was never afraid to challenge the status quo, especially when it came to what she saw as biased reporting. She didn't mince words and was unapologetically bold in her views. Whether it was standing her ground on controversial policies or confronting the media on their biases, Karoline was a force to be reckoned with. Her confidence, clarity, and ability to take on tough questions made her a standout figure. And as she transitioned into the White House press briefings, her sharp rhetoric only gained her more attention. But even though she was used to the media's scrutiny, nothing could prepare her for what would unfold when she went head-to-head with Kaitlan Collins on live television. Now, let's talk about Kaitlan Collins. Collins is a well-known CNN reporter, often seen front and center in political discussions, grilling politicians with her pointed, sometimes confrontational questions. She's built a reputation as someone who's not afraid to challenge her subjects, often looking for that gotcha moment that the media loves to highlight. But Kaitlan's interviewing style is polarizing. To some, she's a fierce journalist uncovering the truth. To others, she's more about creating conflict than actually seeking answers. But when it comes to Karoline Leavitt, Kaitlan was walking into a storm she probably didn't see coming. See, Karoline isn't one to shy away from a fight. So when Kaitlan sat down to interview her, the expectation was clear. Kaitlan would ask tough questions, Karoline would respond. But what happened wasn't just a political exchange. It was a showdown that no one could have predicted. Collins, thinking she had Karoline cornered with her typical probing, didn't realize that Karoline was about to flip the tables entirely, and in a big way. What started as a typical back and forth became a battle of facts, logic, and sheer willpower. Kaitlan thought she was in control.
Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure.
But she quickly learned who was really running the show. The interview started like any other, with Kaitlan asking questions about federal spending and Trump's policies. But as soon as she tried to push Karoline into a corner with a question about the Trump administration's handling of the economy, Karoline did something that completely changed the course of the conversation. She reached into her bag of tricks and pulled out receipts, actual, verifiable evidence that contradicted Kaitlan's assumptions and claims. It wasn't just words, either. Karoline came prepared with facts, statistics, and examples that Kaitlan had no response to. This wasn't some scripted press conference where the questions were softballs. Karoline wasn't going to let Kaitlan get away with spinning the narrative. She turned Kaitlan's question into an opportunity to expose flaws in the media's portrayal of the Trump administration's economic policies. The moment Kaitlan realized she was losing control of the interview, it was too late. Karoline had already flipped the script, and she wasn't backing down. In fact, it was Kaitlan who started stuttering, struggling to regain composure. The world watched as Karoline's confidence and clarity completely dismantled Kaitlan's arguments. But that wasn't the end of it. The way Karoline handled the situation, how she stayed calm, collected, and unapologetically bold, was something few journalists or politicians have ever managed to do on such a public stage. The moment the interview ended, the internet went wild. Clips of the confrontation started circulating on social media almost instantly. Memes began flooding platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. People couldn't believe what they had just witnessed: a political figure completely dismantling a seasoned journalist live on air. But the fallout didn't stop there. Even CNN's viewers started to question their credibility. How could they have missed the blatant contradictions Karoline had pointed out? Could it be that the media, in their attempt to paint a certain narrative, were overlooking the facts? For the first time in a long time, Karoline's takedown of Kaitlan became a talking point far beyond just the conservative base. People from all walks of life were discussing it, sharing clips, and questioning whether the media was really doing its job. For Karoline, this was a massive victory. Not only had she stood her ground against a CNN heavyweight, but she'd also turned the tables and made it impossible for Collins or the network to ignore the power of the truth. Let's step back for a moment and think about why this takedown mattered so much. It wasn't just a political argument gone viral, it was about how the media shapes the narrative. Over the years, mainstream outlets like CNN have been accused of bias in their coverage, whether it's leaning left or right. But Karoline's interview exposed just how dangerous it can be when the media doesn't fully engage with facts, but instead relies on narratives that fit their agenda. Karoline, as the representative of the Trump administration's policies, wasn't just defending her boss. She was defending the broader point that media coverage isn't always as objective as we're led to believe. The interview wasn't just a clash of two personalities. It was a reflection of the media's responsibility to report facts and avoid turning news into entertainment or opinion. In a world where people are questioning the integrity of the press, Karoline's response to Kaitlan's questioning sent a powerful message. Don't take things at face value. Always ask questions, dig deeper, and hold both politicians and the media accountable for the stories they tell. So what's next for Karoline Leavitt after this viral showdown? It's clear that this isn't just another press briefing. This is a moment that could shape her political career. As someone who's unafraid to stand up to the media, she's earned the respect of many who see her as a powerful voice for accountability and truth. For Kaitlan Collins, the aftermath of this confrontation could be a turning point. She's known for her hard-hitting questions, but after being caught off guard by Karoline, it's possible her future interviews might be viewed with more skepticism. Was she truly asking the tough questions? Or was she simply trying to create conflict for ratings? And as for the broader political landscape, this moment proves just how much the media's narrative can influence public opinion, and how powerful a single, well-prepared individual can be in fighting back against that narrative. Karoline has set a precedent for how political figures can challenge the media, and it's likely that we'll see more of these confrontations in the future. So, what do you think? Was Karoline's takedown a fair moment of truth, or did it go too far? Is the media really as biased as many claim? Or did Karoline just take advantage of an easy target? One thing's for sure, this interview will be talked about for a long time, and its impact could reverberate throughout the political world for years to come. As always, we want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more high-stakes political drama. The next showdown could be just around the corner.